Hey guys, Keys here, back with another Verasity video. So Verasity is currently sitting at 0.0075, and we actually broke out of this overhead resistance that we started back in February, and then we retested again back in October. We ended up breaking out of it on November 6th, and when we did break out of this, I honestly did think that Veracity was going to get a push a little bit higher into closer to 1.1 cent, maybe even just around 1 cent. But we actually just stopped a little bit short of it. We actually stopped at 0.0091, and we got rejected and came back down, basically retested the trend line. We had a little bit of volatility for a couple days here that was pretty big. And now we're kind of just doing nothing. I mean, we did have this volatility right here, but we kind of have just been going sideways really for the past few days, and it feels like Veracity's not really doing anything, especially when you look at other coins like Solana or Avalanche that they feel, I mean, those coins actually, it seems like they're doing a lot, but when you really look at it, they're just doing what Veracity's been doing. They have a range and they're just going sideways, basically up and down. It's just that their up and downs have been way more volatile. You can kind of see Solana's just been at the same level that it got to 23 days ago. So Veracity's basically doing the same thing, right? We hit this level about 21 days ago. So yeah, kind of doing the same thing as Solana, but just way less volatile. So I think it just doesn't really feel like it's really moving. But when you really like zoom out a little bit and think about this year as a whole, especially coming into December, we're about to be in December now. Veracity's definitely made a lot of progress this year. I mean, at the end of last year, we were sitting at 0.002. And then we got a huge move up in January when the whole market basically got a huge move. And we're actually sitting at the level that we peaked at briefly before we got a retracement. And then we got a second move up all the way to 1.1. But you can see how the level that we're sitting at right now was resistance for a long time of this year. I mean, we did have this brief period where we went above it, but for the whole year, we were not really anywhere close to these levels, right? The majority of the year was spent down here. And we're now just consolidating at this level, which is definitely a really good sign. And it's actually also the level that this was actually the very bottom. We're actually sitting currently like right at it. This was the bottom of the summer 2021 crash before the second leg of the bull market. We're just chilling right at the bottom, which I think is currently like really fine. I mean, we're already sitting we're not even in a bull market, and we're sitting at the bottom of a crash during a bull market, and we're not even in the bull market yet. So I think that's a really good sign. Definitely shows that Veracity can get to really good levels, I think, in the bull market, especially if we're already at these levels currently. But oh yeah, I also wanted to say, guys, that just if you guys didn't know, on BingX they actually did list Veracity on November 5th. So I think on this candle right here, right before we broke out, it got listed on futures, so you can actually leverage Veracity up to 10x on BingX. So maybe that's the reason for like some volatility right after it. I don't really know for sure, but I just wanted to let you guys know that it is actually, you can actually 10x it now on futures. So might add a little bit more volatility to it, but I think it's like completely fine to have that. And yeah, guys, when Veracity moves, so I know we're not really doing anything now, but when Veracity does move, it's like really really quick, right? Like look at these candles, like days, like it's just like back to back to back to back days, right? It's like straight up just like goes up without any stopping whenever it does move up, and then it kind of cools off a little bit, and then like when it moves up again, it's just gonna go like really quickly, right? And so I don't really think it's any surprise that we're not really doing anything now, and we're just gonna have to wait for that move to happen, because it's just gonna, when it does happen, it's just gonna like happen really quick, like within a week, maybe like 2 weeks, right? It's just gonna go up and up and up for like a couple days straight, and then it'll cool off. So not doing anything now, but when we do move, I'm expecting it to just move really quickly again. And I wanted to talk about this potential like pattern that we're seeing that Veracity has already played out before, which I think maybe could play out again. And so we're going to compare this resistance, well, this support right here, but like now it's resistance, right? But basically this level between 0.009 and 0.01. This level, I'm going to compare that to 2020's level of 0.0013 to 0.0015. And you can see what happened in 2020 was that we came up to it, got rejected, at 0.0015, came all the way down to the bottom of the parallel channel. Then we made our way back up, got rejected again. So 2 rejections, came back down to the channel. I mean, basically touched it 2 times. We bounced off, and then we bounced off again. And then we got like the huge move. It broke through the resistance, and we got like an explosive move up. And I don't know if it's going to play out something like that, but what could maybe happen is maybe we're getting the first level. We basically we hit the trend line, right? Came up to 0.001 or 0.01, and then we rolled over, got another push up. I think that if Bitcoin does go to 42K, maybe we can see that second, or like 40K or something. Maybe we can see that second time that Verasity makes a move up here. I still think that Verasity can push up to around 1.1 cent. It's kind of what I was expecting, a little bit earlier, but we didn't get it. But I still think we can maybe do it. And if we do it here and get rejected here again, come back down to the trend line and get support here, and then we can break through, I think that's like completely fine. It would actually make a lot of sense because we actually already played that pattern out before. So it is something I'm looking for right now. I don't know if it's going to play out, but if it did play out, then accumulating back down here at around 0.005 or anywhere between like 0.005 and like 0.006. If Veracity's back at those levels, I think it's another great time to accumulate more. And it could actually be maybe even like the last time we see those levels again, because that's what happened in 2020. So just wanted to let you guys know about that setup potentially playing out. And let's just take a look at some indicators that I like to look at. It's actually the weekly Ichimoku cloud. And I know it looks really, really bad right now, but I'll show you some other coins. But I just want to say that we're actually coming up to it. We're actually like really close, and it's actually like so like funny that we're finally here, because I remember like when I was looking at the weekly Ichimoku like during this period and this period here, I was like, we're so far away from it. It's going to take us forever to like finally reach it. But we're actually kind of close to it now. I mean, if we go sideways for the next few weeks until January, we would end up hitting it where we are right now. But I also think what's really interesting is that if we do get a push up to 0.01, it's like right into the cloud, and then maybe we like grind it down a little bit, and then we finally get down here, and then we maybe can like make a charge into it. So I don't know how it's going to play out, but we are getting close to touching the cloud. And just for references, let's take a look at Bitcoins. And like I said, guys, I remember seeing the cloud down here, or like in here, and we were so far away from it. I was like, this is going to take us forever to finally reach it. But look where Bitcoin is in its cloud, right? Look how like at the beginning of it, we also grinded down on the edge, and then we were able to get a push up, right? So maybe Verasity does that similar move where it hits it, grinds down, and then pushes in. If you want to take a look at Solana, for example, like when Solana was like down in the dumps here, like look how far away it was too, right? So I know this looks really, really like bad and huge, and maybe we're not going to break it, but I do think that, no, I know for sure like we'll eventually break it, but who knows how it's going to play out. I think that, like I said, maybe we follow Bitcoin when we come in here, and initially we can't do anything, so we just like grind down the edge, and then we finally get like a second push that like pushes us into it. So this is a massive cloud, guys. It's also really funny how the bottom of this cloud is right on the trend line of the parallel channel, the bottom of the parallel channel. So we'll just see how it plays out. And I don't really think it's anything. I mean, obviously it's like a little concerning, but every single coin has like a massive cloud like this. So it's not the end of the world or anything. And the SMA, I'm just going to talk about the daily SMA, just the 200, because I think that's a pretty good one. And the thing about like using the SMAs right now is not really the greatest, because really the market's just going to do what Bitcoin does. So it doesn't really like matter too much. But I'm going to talk about the 200 because it's just a really good one, I think, especially in the daily. And for Bitcoin, I think it's good on the daily and the weekly. But you can kind of see like in 2020, we were kind of like flatlining, right? We are kind of doing nothing. Then we got a huge move, and like this move was like, is it what we're waiting for? Then we like rolled over, and now we're flatlining again, right? And it actually looks like we're kind of starting to like curl up a little bit here. And what I think would be really interesting is that just as we're coming up to the bottom of this of the parallel channel, maybe we can see it like start looping up again like this, right? And that's what the move we're looking for. I don't know if it's gonna play out like that, but we've been flatlining for kind of a while now. So I do think that there's going to be a time sometime soon, in my opinion, that we're going to see this move up on the 200, which would, imply a pretty big move for Verasity. So another indicator that I'm just looking out for, and I think it looks pretty decent. I mean, it's been a while, right? Like, it's basically been since the beginning of this year that we've been flatlined. So also, guys, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin pair, because it's always important to look at, for altcoins in general, you always got to take a look at the Bitcoin pair. And something really interesting about the Bitcoin pair that is different than the USDT pair is the USD pair has broken out. Like, we broke out of this trend line, right? Like, we're above it now. But when you look at the Bitcoin pair, we actually haven't broken the trend line, and we were actually getting rejected. We've been getting rejected off of it again for kind of a while. Like, the move that actually broke us above the USD pair actually just got rejected. It's this move right here. It's the move that couldn't break above the Bitcoin pair resistance line. So this is why it's important to look at the Bitcoin pair, because it's another way to view the coin. And in this case, we're still underneath it. We still haven't broken out of it, which is kind of, you can maybe say that's not too bad. Obviously, it'd be nice to be above it, but if we're already above it on the USD pair, but not above it on the Bitcoin pair, when we do finally break the Bitcoin pair, like, the USD pair can be going, like, way crazier, right? So just interesting to note, guys, we're still below it. I don't know how long we're going to be below it for. We put this peak in 2021. So this trend line's been going back since October of 2021. Then we tested again in February of 2022. No, February of 2023. So over a year later, we tested it again. And then we tested again in October of 2023, which is 2 years after we first initially touched it. That's crazy. And then we touched it again, like, earlier this month, November 10th. So yeah, guys, we still had to wait till this breaks out. I think when this pair breaks out on the Bitcoin pair, that's when we're gonna really see Verasity, like, start really moving up, is when it breaks out on the Bitcoin pair. And the thing is, like, if we do get rejected back down to the bottom of this, like, let's say Bitcoin, like, tanks down to 32K, which I think it will eventually. I don't know when. Like, it could go up to, like, 42 or whatever first, or whatever, before it tanks, or it could just tank, like, soon in the 30s. But whenever we do, if Bitcoin does tank, and maybe the Bitcoin pair and Verasity tanks, because if Bitcoin tanks, Veracity's probably gonna, like, tank even harder, right? So the thing is, like, we actually have a lot of room still. Like, to hit the bottom of this is still a 33% drop. So even if Verasity got a huge, massive sell-off against its Bitcoin pair, which would be pretty big, because Bitcoin's probably also getting a massive sell-off, so it's going to be, like, pretty big hit. But even at the worst case scenario, in my opinion, like, we're actually still okay, because we got a lot of room to drop, and I don't see any reason why it's a bad thing to come back down here. If it did come back down here, this is another time, like, so, like, when you're looking at this pair, like, what it means down here would be, like, theoretically, if you wanted to play it, it would be turning your Bitcoin into Verasity right here, right? Like, that would be, like, such a good move. Like, if we did come down here and this was, like, another bounce and then we broke up here, like, turning your Bitcoin right here would make you the most money against Bitcoin, right? So it's not a bad thing if we come down. We have a lot of room to drop. I do think it would hold if we did drop. I'm not saying we have to come down here. Like, maybe we don't even come down here, but just in case we do, I still think we're okay. And I think we're just gonna have to really wait and see when this breaks out, because once this starts breaking out, I think the USD pair is gonna really start going pretty hard. Maybe we can start breaking out of this range or something. I don't know, but yeah, guys, that's Verasity. It's still looking really good. I know it just feels like it hasn't really been doing anything for the past few weeks, because it kind of has just been going sideways. But you gotta, like, kind of zoom out a little bit and definitely realize, like, how much progress we made in 2023. And I do think that it is going to, make a pretty big move upcoming, like, in 2024 and so on. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.